Greetings, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I have drifted into the Underworld. The Star Wars Underworld. I have a bad feeling about this.
Here we go. We must go to the lower levels. The Underworld.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
You're after something.
Ben.
Since I've started the Underworld, I've met so many great friends.
Chris.
I grew up in the 1990s, and mall packaging is nostalgic for me.
Dominic.
What I love most about Star Wars is that it's fun, and it's all-round good times.
So, this is where the fun begins.
May the Force be with us.
This thing really moves!
Whoa! I like
I
this!
can't believe you came all this way to see me.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another special bonus edition of the Star Wars Underworld podcast. Apologies if you tuned in this week looking for a regular episode of the Star Wars Underworld podcast, which, to be fair, we did promise at the end of last week's show. However, as this week went on, we realized that wasn't really going to be possible this week, unfortunately. So in its place, we have a best of episode. Now, it's a best of episode where you probably haven't heard most of the clips involved in this best of episode because it's the best of the pre-show. You may have heard of us talk about the pre-show. We talk about it every week on the show. It's our 20 to 30 minute sort of mini podcast that we record before every episode of the Star Wars Underworld podcast that is exclusive to our Patreon supporters normally. And if you want to watch more of the pre-show, if you watch this and decide, hey, I'd like to see more of those, you can sign up to watch it for as little as $1 a month by going to patreon.com/the SWU. Granted, you may also watch this episode and decide, you know what, I'm not missing anything with the pre-show, in which case, fair enough. We understand. But we've got several clips here that we think you'll really enjoy. We've got some Marvel Cinematic Universe talk where we talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We've got what happens when Ben has to deal with scammers on Facebook. Got some behind the scenes stories with the Star Wars Underworld. There's a clip where I'm watching a hockey game while trying to maintain a regular conversation and struggling, I think, to remain engaged with the conversation, given the excitement that was happening on the ice. Although the ending was tragic. Although you don't hear that in that part and this part. This part, there's just excitement. So I don't know. I hope you enjoy this stuff. We'll be back next week with a regular episode where we'll talk some San Diego Comic-Con and everything else that we missed in the past 2 weeks, or in the 2 weeks in between regular episodes. So we hope you to see you then, and we hope you enjoy this best of the pre-show, which we will kick off with a conversation that Chris and I had about Stranger Things season 4. It's mostly spoiler free, so hope you enjoy. This has been Dominic. Enjoy the best of the pre-show. The image has sharpened up considerably.
So let's try this again.
There we go. Now
okay.
That looks like the Stranger Things logo,
good.
And not just like a blob of red on black.
There we go. Yeah. No, yeah, it was. I thought season 4 was great. It was awesome. I don't know if it was better than season 3. I really liked season 3, but it was still really good. I think my one problem, and again, I think we're gonna stay like kind of spoiler free because it just came out like 6 days
Mike
ago.
Dies.
Everyone died.
11 dies. Hopper dies.
Yeah,
Joyce
like,
dies.
It's like the end game. It's just they're just making way for the next generation of characters.
Yeah. For
the
spin-off.
Yeah, and the Demogorgon's a hero now. They switch sides. But
what a twist.
Hey, Eugene, Eugene's a new listener to our pre-show.
Yeah, to the pre-show.
Hi,
Welcome, Eugene.
That's awesome. But yeah, spoiler free. My issue was there were a couple moments where I was watching it and I was like, wait, this is the plot of season 1 again. That's kind of the one thing that annoyed me that took me out of it. There's a couple beats in there, especially as it got towards the climax, where I was just like, yeah, this is very similar to season 1. So I thought that there was a lack of originality in a couple spots, and I felt like they're just like, it very much felt like the way that The Force Awakens feels compared to A New Hope, where it's just like, okay, they know what people like, so they just did it again in a different way. Yeah, that's the way that I kind of felt about a couple moments, big moments. But aside from that, everything else was great. And again, if people wanted to have, your good old, hamburger at Chili's again, it was there and it was just as good. It just was the same thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. What I was more sort of taken in by and fascinated by was the structure and the pacing of the last episode.
Yeah.
Because it's the length of a movie, but it's paced like a TV episode. It doesn't have the same sort of rises and falls that a movie would have. So, everybody says, "Oh, we're watching a Stranger Things movie," basically. I'm like, yeah, in terms of runtime, but if they ever were to do Stranger Things the movie, it wouldn't be paced or structured like that. It would have a different sort of up and down.
If you were one particular movie and one movie only, which is if you combine episodes, the last 2 episodes that aired staggered later, those 2 episodes combined together have extremely similar pacing to The Return of the King as a movie.
Okay.
Because The Return of the King very much has that, odd pacing where it has kind of multiple climaxes and then like multiple endings, which this very much did. And the reason why is because it wasn't just an ending for Return of the King, it was an ending for Fellowship and for Two Towers, just in the same way that these 2 episodes were an ending for all the episodes that preceded it. So I felt like this season was paced kind of more similarly to The Lord of the Rings. Especially with the divergence and then the convergence, very similar. Where like Lord of the Rings splits off into these different groups, and there are so many characters. Very similar with Stranger Things.
That whole scene at the end, since we're being spoiler free, at the place at the end, had a real everybody jumping in Frodo's bed at the end of Return of the King vibe to it. Just with some more sinister undertones because they're setting up, season 5. I what I really liked about this season was I really liked the inclusion of Vecna as a villain. That was good because that was the thing that was getting a little bit repetitive for me with Stranger Things was the Demogorgons and the Demodogs and the it was all just some variation on that. And to have a villain that is a little bit more calculating in the way that Vecna is, I think gave this season, it gave it a shot in the arm that was missing from the other 2 seasons that followed season 1. So even though it did tread a little bit of similar ground, I felt that having that character be part of it, it gave it that extra kick to push it over the edge and make it a worthwhile entry on its own terms in the Stranger Things verse.
The season as a whole was very, very good, and it was very unique. And I don't feel like the entire season, was just copying season 1. Again, it was just there were a couple moments where I'm like, that's literally the same scene again, and that's about it. But then I also kind of understand like. It's tough when you're inside a universe to know what is like you have to keep things kind of similar because you're in the same universe and you have the same characters. Like for instance, you could almost say like someone who isn't very versed in Star Wars could be like, why did Luke fight Vader again at the end of Return of the Jedi? He just fought Vader at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. They're just doing the same ending to the last movie again. So you could see things that way. And so I think maybe I'm kind of falling into a little bit of that where I'm just like, the similarities are kind of very broad similarities. And it's just, I'm noticing them because I'm not like, this isn't, the only thing that I'm seeing is this just at these episodes, and there's nothing else from this universe that I really am seeing. So I'm not really seeing the full diversity of it, essentially, that would exist in real life if this was real.
Yeah. I wonder, everything is a cinematic universe these days. Like, I wonder, I know there's allegedly a Stranger Things spin-off in the works.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of wonder what that will look like, because I think all of this stuff will sort of be answered in season 5, what that sort of thing will look like. But it does this universe feels very much like it began with season 1. It doesn't strike me as a universe that has a vast history that goes back in time. And so I feel like the only sort of thing is to do something that's kind of a sequel show. You can't, I don't think you can do House of the Dragon or Better Call Saul of the Stranger Things world. I think you gotta, there's, I think there's more that can be done in it, certainly, but it feels like this is a new universe where everything is sort of pushing forward, and this is
I would guess there's
going
to be chronology, but then at the same time, there's so many flashbacks that you're at least opening the door for things in a certain amount of the recent past as well. So there
go back to sort of
that.
The 50s, I guess.
Yeah, so you can go back a little bit, but I definitely felt like this season, the thing that I kind of actually almost liked it was a situation where I disliked it and liked it equally. Where one, I didn't like that there was full closure. Barely, there was not really any closure, And again, I don't want to say much more about that, but for spoiler reasons, in case people haven't seen it. But it is not very much. There's not a lot of closure to this season, and so and from one perspective, I was mad because I'm like, dang, that's a lot of buildup to not really have closure. But at the same time, it's good that they're telling a 2-season story, because so far the show has been 1-season stories. Like the last 3 seasons have been pretty self-contained. They've almost been like their own movies or their own books in a sense, with different chapters. And so this one very much feels like season 4 and season 5 are kind of 2 halves to the same season in a sense. And so there's a good part of that too, that they're looking broader than that. So between that and the fact that they're kind of, you could really tell kind of like what type of things they're going to repeat, because again, there was a lot of things that were not new in this season that were just spun in a different way. You started seeing like, okay, these are the pieces of a universe. This is the lore pieces that they're building. It's not a continuous story where it's just everything is different. It's like you're coming back to the same beats and the same types of situations. And just like, again, Star Wars always comes back to like a lightsaber battle. Now we can kind of have a feel for if there's going to be a Stranger Things show, it's going to include these elements, because they were repeating elements that we saw in the last 3 seasons. So I think whereas the last 3 seasons to me felt like expansion, whereas this was the first one where I feel like they're pulling things and bring things back from previous ones. And so I think, again, one, obviously they're setting up the next season, but 2, they're setting up an entire universe very clearly too, by showing like, okay, these are the Stranger Things elements that are going to make up a Stranger Things show, even if it's not about these particular characters.
And the big question I think that needs to be answered in season 5 is, what is the Upside Down? Like, why does it exist? And in that, I think could potentially open up the larger universe. And once you provide some semblance of an answer to that, then I think all of a sudden this universe will feel much broader. And then maybe something again akin to House of the Dragon or Better Call Saul would feel as a place in this universe, where you're telling stories that relate to what's come before, but in and of themselves are separate. Like,
that's the thing that people, keep speculating about, is like, oh, they're going to destroy the Upside Down, or, oh, they're going to explain where it came from. And I don't know about either of those things, because I feel like that might be one of the important pieces that just has to exist for it to be Stranger Things.
Yes.
And if that's the case, then they want to probably take their sweet time with either of those things, because it's just going to take away either mystery or opportunity in future stories until after they do that.
Yeah, they have to. There has to be a way of. You have to provide closure for this story. You do, and I think to do that, I was joking with some people I work with, like, every season of this show, basically, up until this one, ended the same way, which is 11 closes a gate. That's basically how every season ends. And I think you have to find a way for season 5 to do that, but make it feel more final so that Mike, 11, Will, the other ones, Lucas, what's the other kids? Dustin, Max, Erica, all of them can go on and live their lives in the future and live out their lives without having this threat constantly looming over them.
Or it's like Stephen King's It, where they're fine until they're adults and then they're not fine.
Yeah, that and the amount of Stephen King influence that is on this show, it almost feels like I wonder if Matt and Ross Duffer have that in the back of their mind of in 20 years.
Yeah.
Can we do Stranger Things 2.0 and bring these guys back as adults and see where they're at? Not unlike The Force Awakens, right? Bring back Mark Harrison and Carrie, just bring back Millie, Finn, and the other ones.
See, here's the thing. It's funny. I feel about Stranger Things the same way I feel about Star Wars when I have issues with Star Wars. And it's very rare that I feel about this, about anything other than Star Wars. But usually it's because I stopped watching after 3 seasons of something or 3 movies of something. So I don't even get to that point. But again, what I worry about is because of the success of the show, they're going to start becoming too self-referential. They're going to be like, okay, let's just, reference something that happened in season 1, something that happened in season 2, instead of referencing another cool thing from the 80s that is cool to bring back because it's not cool, but now is cool because Stranger Things did it. Like, and that's what they need to do with future shows and seasons is they have to keep bringing throwbacks from the 80s and maybe even the 90s as they progress in the timeline to keep it fresh. Just like Star Wars is only fresh when it's referencing like Hitchcock, not more Star Wars.
Yeah. I reference this show all the time because I think it's one of the most brilliantly executed pieces of television. But Better Call Saul does that perfectly. It has just enough Breaking Bad references in there, and connections and meaningful connections.
Yeah,
but it does it in its own way, and it does it in a way that doesn't feel like they're just going, it's that guy, it's that guy. It always feels like it's driving the story in a way that is enhanced if you've seen Breaking Bad, but doesn't make it required viewing. But yeah. All right, I think that's the pre-show. Thank you, everybody. And Eugene having the same name as my uncle is a good thing. He's a good guy. So I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. All right, we'll see everybody on the main show where we believe we'll be joined by Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy.
Right.
Theoretically. Let's do a dramatic reenactment.
Yeah, let's do
of your life. Do you want to play you?
I mean, I guess it would be accurate.
I mean, it's either that or Johnny Grasso.
Also, there's a lot of reading with the other ones.
I want to play the other character.
Yeah. All right. And I do have a little bit of backstory that I will go along with this.
Okay.
For those who are unaware of actually what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So set it up. What happened? How did we get to where we begin our story?
Well, okay. So you've been on Facebook. Most of you probably have. I have quite a few friends, and every once in a while, one of them will
humble brag much. You're like, I have quite a few friends.
No, I have too many friends. That's my problem. But here's the thing: some of them will like message me or add me as a friend after they've already added me as a friend, and that's like very sus. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And of course, I'm like, okay, it could be their other account got blocked, whatever. I'll humor them. Either that or it's a scammer. Spoiler alert, it is. And they immediately message me. And it's of course, they're playing the part of, of the friend, and they're doing the whole thing, talking like I know this person would not talk. And doing the whole spiel of, hey, how's it going? Have you heard all these things? You've been on this list. You're entitled to winnings and blah, 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 blah. So like, after a lot of times, when I usually just kind of play with them all, just at that point, I will just start screwing with them. I decided, no, I'm actually going to see this all the way through. I'm going to try to get as far as I can as possible and see where this goes, because I don't know what actually they do with these. I've been friended by bots before.
I believe you got friended by a bot named Dominic Jones at one point.
Yes, we did. Yes, I think a lot of people did. I think you might remember that one. So that happened, and I never pursued it that much. Usually, you just start, throwing gobbledygook at them, and they get mad and they leave, or they realize they're not going to get through to you. So I went ahead and I went through the whole spiel of okay, great. And when they're saying, you want to hear more about this? Yes, I want to hear more about this. Tell me more. And so they go through the thing and they send me a link to another profile that says, hey, message this person and tell them a specific thing, which I copied and put in the message. And they said, tell them, and they will go you through the process with you of getting your money. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to get some money. Yeah. So let's do this. So the person, this is a personal profile, I believe. It's Agent Barbara Susan.
Agent.
That's her name. Agent Barbara Susan. Her first name's Agent.
Agent. Yeah.
So I messaged them, and as it goes, can we just jump right into it?
Yeah. All right. So I'll be playing Agent Barbara Susan, and so I better get into character here. Agent, secret agent. All right. Start us off, Ben.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and action. Hello there. A friend of mine saw my name on your winners list, and I'm ready to claim my winning money.
Thanks for contacting. Kindly send your full name to check if your name's still available on the winners list. Thanks, you.
And I responded, Neb Tra. That is my full legal name. And for those who don't know, that's my name spelled backwards. I've learned that over the years. I think everybody knows their name spelled backwards. I think that's just kind of a law now. And they continue.
Yeah. Hold while we are checking. New message. Confirmation of LCIF winners from the Lions Club International Foundation. We want to say a big congratulations to you and your household, as your name has been picked randomly from our monthly random grant program at the LCIF Grant. Grant, capital G, so Grant is a name in that situation. After we run a check on our system for Lucky Grant. Wait,
who's winning the money, me or Grant?
Yeah. Claimers for this month, you emerge as one of the lucky grant cash package claimers that has not gotten their grant money from us, and yet we are sorry you haven't been contacted yet. Kindly let us know if you are ready to claim your winning grant now so that we can tell you how to claim it.
And I say, yay, I am ready.
At first, you will be shown some questions to answer online here, and the purpose of the questions are to help us locate your address and other necessary information about you and verify you as the real lucky grant claimer, so we don't deliver this grant money to the wrong person. All you have to do is just to answer the questions with your right information and get back to us as with your answers only. Are you ready to answer the questions now?
Yes.
Full name, ... Address, ... Age, ... Occupation, ... Married / single, ... There's less dots that time. Email, ... Monthly income, ... Do you want a cash or check? Do you want a cash or check? That's like something there, or make her relax. Cell phone number, ... Zip code, ... There's 2 question marks, so I've just vocalized that as
And I responded with full name, Nebtra, address 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C., age 79, occupation president, married or single, married, email contact@cea.eop.gov, monthly income $330,300.33 basically. I got that off Google. I did not make that up. Do you want a cash or a check? And I, in all caps, cash money.
That's my favorite.
And then cell phone number 202-256-1414. White House switchboard for the record. And zip code 20502.
This is a wrong info.
No, this is a right info.
Send a picture of yourself. To which Ben replied with this. Your father, Plo Kool, is very stupid.
Okay, backstory, really quick. Gotta stop it really quick. So there is an account. There's a second account that I have that I use for, actually, I don't know how to log into it anymore. It's lost, but basically I use it for something else. And it's called Plo Kool. It was originally my dad's account. My dad was like, several years ago, was like, make me a Facebook account. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I waited like a year and he didn't use it. And I'm like, are you going to use the Facebook account? He's like, no. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I'll use it for myself. So I renamed it Plo Kool. And on my profile, it still says my dad is Plo Kool.
Yeah. So
and
your father.
No, go ahead.
Your father, Plo Kool, is very stupid.
He's not my real dad, so.
You are so stupid.
How dare you speak to the president like that? Where's my money, Barbara? Where is my money?
It concludes with Ben sending a link to Bitch Better Have My Money by Rihanna. Which I see in the screenshot they have listed as explicit on YouTube, as if the title "Bitch Better Have My Money" didn't spell that out for you.
You think?
So there you go.
Hope you all enjoyed that.
Well, since we're talking about social media things, I can tell you I now have a new most liked tweet of all time from my personal account. I don't know what the deal is with the Star Wars Underworld.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that either.
Yeah, but it's unsurprisingly.
Oh yeah, of course.
Naturally,
Deborah Chow. I'm not foolish enough to think that it's because of me. It's all
yeah. I can guarantee.
Deborah.
Yeah, it's always from my experience, if you're gonna have a most liked anything, most commented on, it's gonna have a face in it, and it's extra points if it's a famous face.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, my most liked Instagram post was with Rian Johnson. So it's the Star Wars directors that
that makes sense.
I get you. I realized that was Star Wars director number 4 that I've met.
Wow.
Yeah, Filoni, Favreau, Ryan, and Deborah.
I think I've met 2 in that case.
Filoni and Ryan.
Yeah.
Ben, what's your
Filoni? I'm trying to think of any others.
Did you meet Rian Johnson?
Yeah.
I mean, I met him like from here to.
Oh, that's right. You didn't actually.
I was like 5 feet away.
You got an autograph though.
Yeah,
I got an autograph. It's like I look back now and I regret it, but I remember like being after that. I was like, I've never been more satisfied in my life the moment I got that autograph. Like when I pulled it back, like he actually signed it. Like this is the greatest accomplishment in my entire life. And I was like, oh, he's lighting up over there to do more pictures.
There's nothing that makes sleep deprivation go away for like 30 minutes than getting an autograph for Rian Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
You just forget.
I didn't sleep for like an hour.
Your exhaustion dissipates in the moment. Being in the presence of Ryan is like just getting caffeine injected into your veins.
I found out yesterday that I am caffeine what's the word? Unaffected.
Same. I have I used, like when I was a kid, caffeine would keep me up all night. I have built up such a tolerance over the years that I can have a bottle of Diet Coke before bed and be like asleep in 5 minutes.
I can do that too, but I never built up the tolerance, so I don't know what it is. I had to like one of those, like now there's this thing where you drink coffee from like a metal can. It's like a Gen Z thing. cold brews and like cold lattes. And so I like drank one of these things. I mean, not a lot of caffeine. It was like 120 milligrams, but I like chugged it in like 10 minutes, and I'm like, I'm tired.
I could use a nap.
Does anybody remember the drink, or anybody in the audience remember the drink of Vault?
I knew you were gonna say that.
There you go. So
yeah, I remember.
I used to drink that stuff. This is when I was like probably 13. I drank that stuff religiously until I think it was a Coke product. They took it away.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so Vault is kind of like Surge or like Mountain Dew, but like a little more
same
extreme.
Family, yeah. I was assuming it's just chock full of caffeine, probably. It was classified as a energy drink.
Yeah,
I drank it before bed.
An energy soft drink that was packaged like a soft drink, but on energy drink side. But the thing is, so I came from like a very sheltered, school and childhood. And so that was like death sticks. That was like spice. Everybody's like, oh, I got some Vault. I smuggled this Vault. Yeah, I'm so cool. I'm edgy.
So is this stuff basically the real world equivalent of Tantrum from How I Met Your Mother?
I wouldn't know, but it sounds like it.
Possibly.
That's what it's sounding like to me.
It was a fad, just like you have like Starlight Coke and Blue Pepsi.
So I had a Starlight Coke during Celebration. Kareem gave it to me. He said he got it at like a Disney party, like it was like the Disney disco that he went to after our party. And I thought it was like an exclusive thing for like Disney events, and then I just saw it at 7-Eleven the other day. I was like, what the
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I kept the bottle. I brought the bottle all the way home,
you
and then
the bottle and
only to see it
over the border into Canada.
Yes,
this is how I
only
know.
To see it at 7-Eleven.
This is how I know that your Instagram is 99% corgis, because you haven't seen the memes of everybody trying the Starlight Coke around the world, being like, "What is this?"
I had this
internet that I haven't been on.
Yeah,
personally.
I had the same question. Like I was drinking it, going like this. I like this. This is nice, but what is it?
It's like vanilla Coke, which is one of the most shocking discontinuations I've ever seen at the soft drink. Like vanilla Coke was good. Like I always got vanilla Coke. If there was an option between Coke and vanilla Coke, I always got vanilla Coke. So I don't get why they stopped selling it.
Yeah,
but this is that essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Rebranded.
Yeah, I was so mad. I was so mad when I saw it. Yeah, vanilla. But here's the thing. Like I liked it when it was like an exclusive thing, but now once I saw it in the store, I'm like, well, I'm not buying it. I didn't like it that much. I don't like it that much.
Well, the thing is, of course,
when it was special.
It's a scam because they don't sell the Starlight Coke in the 2 liters. I mean, selling a new soda in 2-liter bottles is kind of like how they don't sell soft cover books for like a year.
Yeah,
they only sell the hardcover version. Yeah. It's like you have to pay the premium for the small package.
Yep. Yeah. Starlight Coke. What a rip. And
I wish I had it right now, but I don't. I have the 3PO's hydrogen peroxide. No way. Hydrogen dioxide. That's a big difference there.
Yeah, that's really
hydrogen dihydrogen monoxide. There we go.
Two very different results if you can consume those products.
I have content.
Okay.
I'm going to give my spoiler-free review of Doctor Strange Mom.
Oh, can I give mine?
Yeah. Oh no.
Well, it's not that bad. Just
I disagree.
I would say I don't actually think it's. I think it's. That's my general feeling.
I think that's fair.
I think that the 75% it had on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if it's still that. Let me see. Doctor Strange 2. It's not called Doctor Strange 2. Why is everybody looking it up that way? Nice. Yeah, 75% tomato meter, 87% audience score. I think that's in the ballpark of how I felt. As an audience member, I was entertained. As a critic, I thought there was a couple things that could have been better. But yeah, the most shocking thing is, because Sam Raimi had done the Spider-Man movies, I was thinking, well, of course, this is, it makes sense that he would direct a current MCU film, and it's just going to be, a superhero movie. And that's what I was expecting going in. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, there are a lot of jump scares at the beginning of this movie. What is going on here? That's I'm not used to that. And then it just gets more and more like that. And then by the time we're in like the third act, I'm just like, this is a horror film.
Yeah.
This is the Evil Dead, which I don't even know if I've seen a whole Evil Dead movie. But I kind of am aware of what they are, and I'm just like, dang, this is full Evil Dead Sam Raimi. Holy crap. So I'm like, this is not a movie for kids under, like, this is not a kid's movie. Like, I know a lot of like PG-13 movies are movies that, your parent has to look over at first, but it's okay for like 7-year-olds, especially the Marvel movies. Like, most 7-8-year-olds will watch a Marvel movie these days. That is not a movie for 7 or 8-year-olds. No, do not show your kids this movie.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yeah, this was nuts. Like, I'm actually kind of a little surprised that it was PG-13 at points. I'm like, this is like an R-rated horror film.
I find that interesting because, of course, I know you enjoy sort of horror-ish stuff. The psychological thriller.
The psychological, sort of
yeah. And so I saw the movie on the weekend with Matthew from Ion Cannon, and he's like not a horror guy at all, and he described it as a horror movie, and I thought, oh, that's just him like overselling it, overreacting it. I think it had horror elements, but I didn't think it was a. I mean, there is the scene in the tunnels.
It's a horror movie.
Okay.
It's a horror movie. Like, yes, you could say horror elements, but the horror elements are what make a horror movie a horror movie.
It's more horrific than a lot of most, if not all.
Yeah, it was the
like,
Marvel
for the
MCU.
For the MCU, it was definitely a horror movie by comparison. I mean, obviously they could have gone further in different places, but there's some gnarly moments in there.
I'm not gonna. We can talk about it more when we're a few weeks later, and we can maybe when it comes out of Disney Plus, and we can do the spoiler review of it.
Honestly, at this point, I feel like we should be able to do spoilers, but maybe
it's been a week. It's been out for a week, right?
People are already like, I got spoiled on a good bit of it because I waited like 5 days. So spoilers are that. I don't know how you're surviving if you haven't seen it yet.
I actually just wasn't on the internet, so somehow I missed all spoilers just because I wasn't on the internet pretty much for a week, just doing life. So I somehow lucked out and didn't know any major stuff going in, like that one thing that happened with that one guy who showed up. Actually, no, the two things with the two guys who showed up. There were two things that I did not know.
I was surprised which one of them got more of an ovation.
Was it the younger one or the older one that got the
younger
ovation?
one?
It was the younger one for me too, which shocked me.
It's surprising.
Yeah. I mean, we had a pretty empty theater because I saw it, like yesterday or something like that. 2 days ago, I saw it, but I saw it on Tuesday. So
I saw the reaction. I saw it and everything go on, and then I turned and looked at the camera and went.
My theater was pretty full, and no reactions.
No reactions.
Wow. I was shocked that the older one didn't get reactions. I was shocked.
He got a little bit of a reaction in my theater, but not a big one.
That was my thing. Like, I didn't care as much about, I mean, it's cool that guy's in it, but like, I'm not a big fan of that franchise. Whereas the franchise that the other one's in, I was like, there's some pretty good stuff in there that I like. So I was really excited when that character showed up. I'm like, yes, let's go. I mean, it was the same reaction it was probably even a bigger reaction to to what happened in Spider-Man.
It's funny, like one guy, I was like, okay, I'm halfway familiar because I listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the lore and all the stuff surrounding that. So I'm like, okay, they could do that guy. And then I read a spoiler that confirmed it. I'm like, oh crap. Well, okay, I know that one. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then I saw a screenshot of the other guy, and I'm like, well, that's clearly fake because there's no way they would do that. There's no way. That's too crazy. Why would they do that? And then I'm watching the movie, and there he is, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's amazing. So I was very impressed with that sequence, and how it was handled.
I started to hear that like spoilers were out there. I just went on Wikipedia and read what it was. I mean, like I don't have the energy to like avoid this, so I'm just gonna do it to myself. But yeah, I thought the movie was okay. I thought it was okay, but it had the unfortunate place of being the third multiverse movie that I've seen in the last 6 months.
Yeah,
and also far and away the third best multiverse movie.
Are you including Eternals in that? Because I haven't seen Eternals.
No, I'm not including Eternals. I'm counting Spider-Man, No Way Home, and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
That is great. Go and see that, and then you will understand why Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is just meh. Because that's a genuinely
that explains some things.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, that movie, like, basically, I can't go into detail without going into spoilers, but there are two ways of doing multiverse movies in my mind. There's the Spider-Man way, and there's the Everything Everywhere All at Once way. And Doctor Strange tried to have it both ways and wound up underwhelming on both fronts.
That makes sense.
So I would left the theater sort of going like it was like I was not bored. I was entertained. I did. There was nothing. I got everything that I asked for out of a Marvel movie, essentially, which is 2.5 hours of escapism, and so I was pleased with that. But as a movie, I just from the way it opened, I could tell it wasn't...
The opening was trash. Like, I was freaked out when I saw that. I saw someone comparing it to Spy Kids 3D or Shark Boy and Lava Girl or one of those two films. I confuse the two a lot because they have similar aesthetics. But one of those 2000s sci-fi action films. And I was just like, yeah, I agree. Like, when that movie started, I'm like, dang, this is bad green screen. It wasn't
even the effects or the aesthetic for me. It was just...
Well, the pacing.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was too much of a jump in. Like they're like, let's jump you in. It reminded me of Star Trek Beyond, but worse.
Yeah. Not even that. Like I have no problem with the opening scene. It's everything that followed the way it played out.
Got it.
Yeah, it is. It is very.
Oh, we got a goal.
Tie game.
All right.
Jason Spezza.
Nice.
With 33 seconds left in the second period. Let's go. Okay.
What happens? I don't know anything about hockey. What's the word? Divisions. But if the Kings, which again I don't even know if the Kings are playing right now. I think.
Yeah, the Kings game starts in about 45 minutes.
They desperately wanted me to work it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have a podcast. But they've I've been getting notifications for like 5 days. Like, can you please work? Can you please work? Because they don't. Yeah. They didn't have anybody booked for it because it's they didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Kings. At what level of the playoffs would the Kings meet the Leafs if they did?
If they did, it would be the Stanley Cup.
What would happen? Is the Stanley Cup during celebration?
No, it'll be in June this year.
Okay, so you'll be out of here by then if that were to happen. I was gonna say, what happens if the Leafs come here for the Stanley Cup and you're here?
I mean,
will you sell kidneys and go to the crypto arena?
If that were the case, there would be some serious consideration given to it. But no, the Kings are on the verge of upsetting the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Yeah.
If they win tonight, they advance to the second round. They're in the same spot as the Leafs right now. If they win, they go to the next round.
Yeah.
And the Leafs came in as the higher seeded team in their conference, whereas the Kings came into that series against Edmonton as the lower seed. So they, Edmonton, who has the best player in the world and arguably somewhere between the second and fifth best player in the world, should be winning that series.
Is that not Sidney Crosby anymore?
No, it's not. I'd say Sid still cracks the top 5.
Yeah, but that was he's a veteran now. He's been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, I was listening. He's having a great playoff though. I was listening to a hockey podcast today, and they're like, we're kind of not appreciating Sidney Crosby in his time. Like he's on this like tear right now in Pittsburgh, and we should be celebrating him more. But it's almost like people are almost acting surprised that he's doing so well. But yeah. Anyway, so my final thing I'll say that I can say spoiler free about Doctor Strange is leaving that movie. I finally understand what it's like to be a Kylo Ren fan.
Oh,
I get it. Like I understand it on a molecular level now. Because I always like Kylo Ren. I always thought he was an interesting character, but I never could get on the same wavelength as the people that thought he was
all right. Let's go.
John Tavares.
That was
7
quick.
seconds left in the second.
Wow. They're really killing it hard at the end of that period.
Oh, they went down 2-0 and they've just clawed their way back in the back half of the second period. But anyway, what I was saying was I've always liked Kylo. I always thought he was an interesting character, but I never understood on the same level as some people, how I never fully understood it. I didn't get it. Yeah. And then this movie happened, and I got to the end, and I'm like, oh, I get it now, because of what happens in this movie with another character.
Yeah. I saw a lot of hot takes about that. Again, spoiled on that specific plot point.
Weirdly, I wasn't. I got the whole thing with the that scene in the middle. I sought that out, but I like the specifics. I didn't of what happens in the movie. I didn't get it. I didn't go for those. I just needed the what are the hot take? What are the grabby spoilers? Get me those. And the rest of it. Yeah. Leave it
I totally get where people are coming from. I more look at it just from a character progression. I feel like we're kind of running in place with that, and we're kind of doing a what's the thing with kind of like Finn in from Force Awakens to Last Jedi. We're kind of you get to a certain point, and then it's take 2 steps backwards, and we're kind of going along. It's just okay, I get what you wanted to do with this character, but it should have been something more than there was one scene missing from that I was okay, I needed that to be able to kind of make the other stuff work, and
that makes sense.
So okay, this is what I wanted to discuss with you. For the 12th anniversary of the Star Wars Underworld, which we celebrated last week, you created this lovely image. So
I know what you want to talk about.
It's terrific. It's terrific. And Ben makes these for every Star Wars Underworld anniversary. It's fantastic, and I always love seeing the pictures that you choose.
This is by far the laziest one, though. I made this on the day on my phone,
but
it's the worst one.
I don't know. You still managed to pull some good stuff. There's us. There's all of us at the Chinese theater, and Zach's in there, and Patrick's in there as well, and you got Kieran in there. You and Kim with Django Fett. For once, I'm not in all the pictures, which is I think the one you made for the 10th anniversary is like 50 pictures, and I think I'm in 49 of them. But yeah, you got I saw the Millennium Falcon, you got Boba Fett with our pin, and then in the middle left-hand corner, you have this picture of me with the Wampa. This one here, from Celebration Orlando, and you claim that this was a lazy choice. This picture's from 5 years ago. You scrolled through 5 years worth of pictures and settled on this one.
I see. I didn't even scroll. It was just there. I don't know. I swear it was still on my phone somewhere, but I don't think my phone pictures only go back to 2018.
Well, this is 2017.
Okay.
I could see I got the Celebration Orlando badge with Captain Phasma on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one must have been on my Facebook or something. It was very convenient, and I was like, okay, I'm using this because this has been I've been looking at this photo for years. I don't think I've used it in anything. So like, yeah, I need I kind of was like going with like, oh, I need a couple of goofy ones. I need a couple of like that covers everybody that has a bunch of people in it. I need some kind of random ones, one of the with the Boba Fett holding up the thing. I always like that one. So and then I threw that one. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna. I didn't know if anybody else remember that photo or remember the context. I remember specifically when I took that photo somehow. Like I remember specifically. You're like, take a picture. I'm like, ah! I'm like, okay. And it's been with me ever since.
That's amazing because I don't usually pose for pictures like that. Like you look at most pictures of me, I'm doing the same thing, which is just the thumbs up. In this one in the top right corner with the three of us, I'm doing the thumbs up. You managed to get 2 pictures where I'm doing like different poses because in the bottom I'm doing the thumbs up as well, but in the top left I've got this like Jesus pose where I'm like, yes, these are my disciples.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, you, Chris, Dan, and Nick are my disciples. I didn't get 12 of them. I didn't get 12 apostles. I only got 4 of you.
But I had to cheat with some of those photos. Actually, the middle photos are a bit wider than everything else because when you do it on this is in the little layout app on Instagram.
Okay.
When you do it, and it gives you a grid, and it took me probably an hour to like pick out the pictures, and I'm like, I put it in, I'm like, that looks awful, and I pull on my all out. I'm like, can I do it with just a few pictures? I'm like, no, I want as many photos as I can in there, so I put them all in there. But then it doesn't work because the bottom one in the middle, it was squishing everyone, and it was getting only half of your face and half of Claire's face, and I'm like, this. I mean, it works, but not really. I know I'm not planning ahead with this. I'm going the lazy route because I'm tired. I've had a long week. And I've already done all these things. I've done 12, 11 of these things probably, or at least 10 of just putting together random pictures. I look back at them, like, oh, those are amazing, man. I've fallen so far. I'm doing this now. I'm doing some freaking Instagram layout. I used to actually spend like hours on these things. But then I just like widened the middle, so like you get everyone in on the top and bottom pictures, and somehow it's not totally obvious, or at least it's not obvious to me.
It worked. Yeah, no, it doesn't jump out as like, if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have noticed. But now that you've pointed it out, I can see that.
I ruined the illusion.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find the one you did for the 10th anniversary, because I love that one because there's so many pictures in there. There's so many like good good memories.
I think it was one area on Facebook I went into where like all of them were there, and I think they were in my tagged photos.
Okay.
I think like every one of them I tag everyone. Again, didn't do that this year because I'm lazy. But like I go into photos of me, and then I would kind of go back through, and I kept seeing like different ones. Okay, yeah, here's the 10th anniversary one. That's also kind of lazy. It was also just like, hey, let's get every single photo I can possibly find.
Okay, but
like people.
That's a different definition of lazy, because you're like, let me put everything in it. I'm being lazy. To me, lazy is just like, here's Star Wars Underworld logo, and here's a big number 10. Like,
right. And I've done that too. That too. But this one was like, and this is very like easy. Just like cut the pictures out, get them all relatively the same, or pretty much the exact same size, and just mush them together. This I did on a computer. And then what was the other one? I don't think, because I did one where there was like the one photo that I might actually be the laziest attempt. See, I'm just judging my laziness here.
I don't know. I like this one. This one's real fun. Real fun. There's one picture, second from the right on the second level from the bottom. Look at that's the one picture in this whole slew of pictures that you put together that I'm not in. And to go along with that, it looks like I made it, right? Because it looks like I decided like I have to be in all the pictures, and then decided at the last moment, like, no, I can't be in them. I also get the only solo picture in there, bottom middle. Like there's just this random picture of me. giving double thumbs up.
I didn't take that picture. That's not my picture. I just stole it from somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happened with that picture. That was at Celebration Chicago, and that was when we went out that one night. I think Kim and Nick were there, and I think Nick's brother was there as well, and Patrick and Din and everybody. I think Dan might have been there, but I can't remember. I just went to this random sports bar in Chicago, and I was trying to get that day's daily podcast up and uploaded, and I had brought, I think it was actually Chris's laptop. I commandeered Chris's laptop and was using it in this bar to like do quick edits to the podcast, and then I'd put it aside while the file rendered and be like hanging out in social, and then I'd take it away again. And someone took that picture. I think, judging by the quality of it, I assume it was Dan. But yeah, like I'm in all of these other pictures, like even in the one that should just be Kieran, there's my head just in the in the side of it. And I remember looking at this when you posted it, being like, "Geez, people will think I made this." Because I've just decided that the Star Wars Underworld is my thing.
Next to my post, and no one would have batted an eye.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I do love the Wampa picture. I just thought it was so funny that you're like, I need to celebrate 12 years of this thing. What are the best pictures I can pick? I know.
I was trying to pick some ones that I don't think I've used that one before for anything.
No,
like posted it on my personal Instagram, maybe our Instagram, but like
yeah. Well, and like the one with Steven as well. It is another good one that I don't think gets used a lot. The other ones I feel like I've seen a fair bit. But I like that one. I wish I had have found that one when I was making the intro, because I would have liked to have put that in there.
Oh yeah.
Well, and the other thing was, like, when I was making the intro, there were a lot more. I thought I had more time for more pictures, and so there's a lot in there that didn't make it in there. And there's one that I sort of think I need to take out and replace with something else. But I don't know. I don't know if people know what. People could guess what that one is.
I don't even think I know.
It's not that I like the picture. I like it conceptually. It's the one where we're all in line recording, but it just moves by too quickly for it to properly. I feel like it moves by too quickly for people to properly register what it is that's going on. But I liked it because I felt like it showed what, the stuff we've done, the things we do, all that insanity.
Yeah, and there's something that I always have to consider with these things is like, we're looking at it blown up right now, but like sometimes people just see it as a thing, and it's just like you can't pick something that's like a picture of something that's off in the background. You have to pick
right,
and you have to like zoom them in to make sure the faces are as close as they can to be. Otherwise, it just looks like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell who's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is an art to this. There is art.
It's an art. Yeah, exactly. There's something to this. There's something to this. But anyway, back to the posing with the thumbs up. Like, I thought that was like, I didn't think that was my thing in the sense that I invented it, posing with your thumbs up, because obviously everybody poses with their thumbs up sometimes, but like in every picture. But last weekend when I was at my job, I was with my colleague, and her younger brother started working at this same place in a different role than her. But it was his first ever job. And she wanted to take a picture of him for their parents, like at his first day. And like, she was telling me about it. She showed me this picture, and he's standing outside the building, and he's got his thumb up. And I'm like, and she's like, you can't tell because he insisted on wearing the mask so he wouldn't be forced to smile. But he's miserable in that picture. I'm like, but he still managed to, have a thumbs up. She's like, yeah, well, guys, you guys just put your thumbs up in every picture. It's just an instinct. And I'm like, boy, I have to reconsider every photograph I've ever taken now.
See, I just appreciate that you found something. You found like the thing. I never know what to do, which is why I take a lot of terrible pictures, because I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with my face. Nothing.
Yeah. I know. I think for all of my pictures, I think for Celebration next month, I got to come up with something new. I gotta get out of just the typical like thumbs up. I got to come up with something new. And I'm thinking might just be this. Every picture, I'm just gonna be like, every picture.
You're like, hey, it's going in for a selfie. Like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
wrong with you?
Run into like Pedro Pascal or something, and be like, "Hey Pedro, let's take a selfie." He's like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And I'm like, and he's like, "What the is wrong with you?" I'm like, "No, it's a thing. It's my thing. This is what I do." It's a wrap.